What is going on, guys and girls? It is GhostRobo, and this is the Nintendo 2DS, one of the weirdest product launches of the entire year because not many people really understand what this slice of cake device is really meant to be used for. It released today for $129 as their budget entry-level 3DS, but not 3DS because it's a 2DS, which is a 3DS without the 3D. Plays all the same games, but just not in 3D, and came out alongside Pokemon as sort of the kids' first Pokemon player type machine. Now, I don't know if this will replace any of my current handheld systems, but I'm very curious to see what it is, how it works, how it feels. I've been a Nintendo fan all my life, so I can't imagine that they would create something totally useless, but this just seems a little bit odd. I understand the price point is much more attractive. $129 gets people in pretty easily, especially with much more expensive systems releasing later this fall. $129 seems like, hey, I can buy this for my kid and buy them the game and still come in under $180. That's a pretty good proposition in comparison to like a $200 Vita or a $400 PlayStation 4 or a $500 Xbox One. It comes with all your typical manuals and stuff, but that's not the good news. I'm going to be testing it out for you guys, showing what games look like, charger included, and giving you my impressions on the system here. Where are you, little guy? In the United States, it came out in red and blue. I picked red because I have a blue 3DS XL, which I love. I think that's a huge improvement from the original 3DS. It's way sturdier and way better. This thing is so dang creepy. It's smaller than I imagined. There it is, coming all wrapped up for you guys in cool red. Not a whole lot of color on these guys. The European versions used a white front, which I thought was pretty sexy, but black isn't too bad either. It's a tablet of sorts, so it also kind of fits the iPad craze and gives your kids something that feels a little bit like an iPad as opposed to a 3DS or DS, and also eliminates the ability for them to snap the thing in half because this does not fold in any way, as you can see. It's a flat slab of gaming, I guess. It still has the two cameras in the back. Pretty good form factor. Now, I have decently small to average hands, so nothing huge. I never have trouble with holding things, but this is definitely a smaller form factor than what you'd expect from the 3DS. Now, just for your comparison pleasure, I've brought a regular 3DS, which again is a little bit clumsily hinged. These things always shook and move. This is a later model, so it has less shake than the original launch units, but that's that one, and as you can see, the size difference between XL and regular 3DS is quite substantial. Now, I don't have three hands, but I'm going to compare the 2DS to both of these. You can see it is smaller in height than the original 3DS, about the same, maybe a little wider even, because it's all one unit and there's no folding. When you close this up, it again takes up a lot less space. The screens, though, are the size of these screens. They are not the XL screens as far as I'm aware. They look, for some reason they look bigger on this unit, but I think it just must be the amount of plastic surrounding them. In comparison to the XL, though, it is significantly smaller. None of these devices are really a pocket device. I mean, if you have baggy pockets, you can shift this 3DS XL in there, but this one is not going to go in your pocket unless you have like a walrus-sized pocket. So it's smaller than the XL by a lot. Screen size, you're losing a lot of real estate right there. But let's turn this guy on and see how it actually plays and controls when in use, because it has the buttons and everything are all just on this flat plane, which is a different position. You can tell from the 3DS original to the new 2DS, the buttons are at a higher point, up more towards the top screen than they are the bottom screen, which is a unique and kind of a first-time feel for the 2DS. Now, it does come with a stylus, which is very long and very rad here. And so as we boot this up, let's test out some games. Alright, so I've got the guy all set up and ready to go. Super Mario 3D Land in hand to test out, but I thought I'd go through the whole process and show off all the button locations and stuff. It's just weird to hold. I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm like some futuristic lazy secretary typing on my weird small tiny tablet. Like, yes, the business meeting's at 10. We've got a big chunky home button down in the middle, which is new. The cartridge slot and charging slot up top. SD card slot on the side, as well as some like air vents. There's a sleep switch and a headphone jack on the very bottom, and then volume on this side. You got big chunky L and R buttons up top here, which they feel different to me. They're more like controller bumpers than they are like a handheld system clicky thing, so that's quite interesting. Power button is on the front, so that sleep button is not necessarily the power button. There's just no way to close this and put it in sleep mode, so you have to do it kind of manually. It's a chunkier cartridge slot too, because it's not like set off the back of the unit. It's in the center of the unit, which is a little weird. So we're putting the games in, I guess, facing backwards. Okay. In they go. And let's see how the Super Mario 3D Land thing controls. It's a very odd piece of hardware. It's so weird just to look at. Like, it's so flat, and I don't think you can really even fully get what I'm saying until you actually hold one of these, because it's so contrary to anything that we've seen since the Game Boy Color, which is a very thin system. I mean, if it was like this, I guess that wouldn't help all that much, but you know what I'm saying? It just feels a little bit odd. I'm sure it plays well. The screens look really crisp. As someone who's played on the XL for so long, I'm obviously more happy about the resolution here than on the XL because stuff is stretched. But it works good. It's weird having the controller, the what do you call it, the joystick on the top screen as opposed to the bottom screen. Just a unique touch, but just to give you some impressions as I play here, it doesn't really throw you off. I'm playing some Super Mario 3D Land Special Worlds here, and it controls like a charm. It works perfectly, and I don't feel awkward at all. The buttons on my right hand, so like your A, B, X, Y, are a little bit high. I'm so used to having my finger lower, I think, from both like Xbox 360 controllers and from regular handheld systems that aren't of the cake variety. These buttons are a little high. My thumb wants to sit like right here at a lower position, but it just can't. So that possibly would take a little bit getting used to. I don't know why you would buy one of these if you already have a 3DS XL or a regular 3DS. I guess as a new product, it's a cheap and kind of efficient alternative that feels very strange. It just, I don't know, even though these aren't that different, like they're really not that different at a core level. If I pop this out, they're pretty much the same. It just looks so weird having everything on the same plane on a flat surface. I'm kind of just intrigued by how and why they did the design like this. Cost efficiency because of, one piece of plastic or something, I don't know, but it's just a strange yet kind of cool device that maybe I will keep it. I kind of like having it as sort of a weird piece of Nintendo's history, because it seems like this thing, it's just so different and unique. I hope that I'm getting that across to you. Of course, it does everything you'd expect it to do and plays fine. There's no 3D toggle or anything like that, but I usually have it off anyways. So for me, I would recommend this if you don't have one. You don't deal with the annoying hinge that pops and whatever. You don't have 3D, and it saves you about $60. Unless you're like, hey, I really want to throw this in my pocket or my, backpack or whatever, then yeah, you want to go here. But if you're looking to just cut costs and get as much bang for your buck, I don't see why you would hate this. The position of the buttons is a little bit odd, but not enough to like break the deal. And it's kind of a unique piece of hardware. It feels oddly futuristic, I think because of the tablet design, and it's much smaller than you'd imagine. The pictures don't really give way to how small it is. I like the red and black. I think it reminds me almost in a really weird way of those very old like 1990s handheld games that you'd buy. That'd be like Batman or Looney Tunes, and they would be really crappy and have just like a bad screen with some like one button game, and that's kind of what it reminds me of in form. But then it has the whole 3DS thing going on there. And I don't know, but I kind of like having the screens a little bit closer together. You'll see it's not by much, but without having that middle hinge, they are a little bit closer, and so it almost makes it feel like they should remove the line and just have the screens touching, which would then create this strange, like, mushroom-shaped screen thing, which they probably didn't want, but it's intriguing to your eyes, not necessarily in, like, a super fun way, but in, like, a very, like, why did they build it like this? And it kind of messes with you, because it's such a subtle yet different look. I actually kind of like it. I'm going to play around with it some more. As of right now, because of the price point, because of the fact that it still does everything you need to play 2DS, well, regular DS and 3DS games, I have to give this thing like a solid 8 out of 10. I think the form factor could have been a little bit sexier, a little bit cooler, so it didn't look like you're holding this slab of cake, but I'm actually impressed with how it feels in hands. For a flat piece of whatever, they have just the right slope on the back, so it doesn't feel like I'm holding this awkward rock. It is a little bit strange down at your palms just because it's so rigid, but I kind of like this. It's small. I don't know how I will carry it around. I think they have unique cases specifically for the 2DS. There's something oddly cute about it, and I kind of really like it a lot. So there you go. That's the Nintendo 2DS. The red version, again, it's in blue as well, but since I had a blue 3DS XL, I went with the red. Hope you guys enjoyed this little impressions, review, update, comparison, 2DS unboxing video. Again, you can see the difference isn't very much. It's a little bit smaller. You don't have the hinge. You don't have the 3D, but you save yourself some money. And it's kind of a futuristic Star Trek-esque tablet device. I kind of want to just tap on it and make space meatloaf appear or something. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. Thanks again. A fantastic day. Drink so much chocolate. Until next time, guys and girls, we will see you all later.